don't deserve him.
Trump hit back at AOC, who wants to impeach him. I'll read the part of his Truth Social post. Quote, stupid AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, not to be confused with anyone else. One of the dumbest people in Congress is calling now for my impeachment. When we examine her test scores, we will find out that she's not qualified for office, but nevertheless far more qualified than Crockett, who is a seriously low IQ individual. Or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country. AOC should be forced to take the cognitive test that I just completed. So go ahead and try impeaching me again. Make my day, unquote. Shalou, have you ever had anybody insult you that badly?
I mean,
in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights.
She says we're one of the worst countries. Y'all. They need to deport, revoke this woman's citizenship. They need to deport this heifer. Expel her from Congress. Well, you know what? We're just going to keep letting them shoot themselves in the foot. Because eventually, they can't shoot themselves anymore. Eventually, just let them keep shooting themselves in the foot. But there's no way she said this live on TV. Ooh, it just gets worse and worse and worse for Democrats, man.
While our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with...
We're here eagerly awaiting for Ilhan Omar to speak. Ilhan Omar is famous for many, many things. And I want to speak very softly and respectfully here. Ilhan Omar, did you consummate the marriage to your brother? Which is worse, immigration fraud or brother f***ing? Are there any other relatives you fancy, Ilhan? How did your brother propose to you?
come on. Yeah.
All right.
Tax billionaires.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
You know, here we are once again. What's going on, family? Hope y'all are having a great week so far. That you in good spirits. Y'all know Rick gonna come on here and keep it real with you. You know I got to, man. They ought to revoke her citizenship. Deport her. She should have been gone a long time ago. This foreign agent. I tell you, this brother lover. And down there in Minnesota right now, it is a complete disgrace. What the is going on in Minnesota? And they ought to be shaming themselves for this crap here. Send her butt back to where she come from. Since you hate America so much. Trump is right. And all you do is complain. This foreign agent. Fraud.
In a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets with.
She said we're becoming one of the worst countries. I almost said something, family, but they say, Rick, sir, calm down. We don't want you to get canceled. We don't want you to get your video taken down, sir. We don't want them to cancel you, Rick. Calm down. Did she really just say that, though?
Without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade.
A failed dictator with a military parade. I almost said something, man, but I know it's against the rules. I know I can't say it how I want to. If I say it how I really, really want to say it, man, they'll take this thing down so quick. I ain't lying to you. You know. Look at this mess here. Look. What a disgrace. But I'm glad Trump said this yesterday. I really am. It's the truth, you know, and I'm glad we got an actual president. Someone that calls it out for what it is. No sugarcoating it. And I tell you, when this man's gone, man, people are going to miss it. People are going to miss when this man is gone, man. There will never, ever be someone like President Trump. The best president in my lifetime. Because President Trump, he kept it real right here. You know what I'm saying? And he called them out. Calling out these failed Democrats. Calling AOC is one of the dumbest in Congress. As well as Crockett and Ilhan Omar, who have seriously low IQs. I'm just summing it up for y'all. Who has done nothing but complain about our country. That's all they do. You know, and their failing districts. That's all they do. And he says, yet the failed country that Ilhan Omar comes from doesn't have a government, is entrenched in crime and poverty, rated one of the worst in the world. You know, as she tries to claim we're one of the worst countries. If even rated at all, how dare the mouse tell us how to run the United States of America? We just now coming back from the radical left experiment with Sleepy Joe Kamala, the auto pen in charge, the biggest scandal in American history, in my opinion. And I think a lot of y'all would agree with the same thing. You know, it's just a disgrace. And we're seeing everything take place with the hearings and everything. Democrats don't even want to show up. They don't even want to show up. That's how bad it is. I'll tell you. But they should be forced to take a cognitive test that I completed at Walter Reed Medical Center as a part of my physical. As the doctor said, Trump aced it, meaning I got every answer correct. Instead of her constant complaining, AOC should go back home to Queens, where she was brought up, and straighten out her filthy, disgusting, crime-ridden streets in the district she represents, which she never goes anymore. She better start worrying about her own primary before she thinks about beating our great Palestine Senator crying Chuck Schumer, whose career is definitely on thin ice as well. She and her Democrat friends have hit an all-time low in numbers in congressional history. So go ahead and try impeaching me. Make my day. Whew. You know. The brother lover. Y'all remember this? Let's play this. Y'all remember this?
Going to possibly look into immigration fraud committed by Ilhan Omar by possibly marrying her brother, tax fraud.
Well, there's a lot of talk about the fact that she was married to her brother. I know nothing about it. I hear she was married to her brother. You're asking me a question about it. I don't know, but I'm sure that somebody would be looking at that.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar spent the last...
He's never changed. He has never... never changed, man. Oh...
Last 2 years denying serious allegations that she married her own brother so he could stay in the United States.
It's a story that won't go away. Ilhan Omar, Democrat, married her brother, they say. And according to an old report from just about 4 years ago, there's DNA evidence. Now, this is coming from an individual who claims that they acquired DNA, got it tested, and said, oh, hey, look, they're brother and sister. And Ilhan Omar married her brother to help him get legal papers to reside in the United States.
Tell me definitively or not, is Ahmad Elsi your brother?
For the markup?
Yeah. Is he your brother?
We're in the middle of the legislative briefing.
Is he your brother?
We're going to which one?
It's Foreign Affairs. I'll go with you.
Is that scum that's running? And New York City is doomed. Family, New York, is that scum right next to her? What's that, Zaran? What's that fella name? And why I'm telling you, they finna get everybody out of New York. People are people are getting out of New York. They only hope, now people are saying our only hope is Eric Adams. Is that scum right next to her? They look like him. Y'all know, I'm just saying. Well, they should have they should have been walked this heifer out, man, and many others. It's a disgrace down there in Congress. A disgrace.
Can you tell me definitively, yes or no, is he your brother? And why can't you answer that question?
The remarks you gave me.
Why did you refer to him as your child's uncle on Instagram? And why did you lie on court documents saying that you hadn't seen him since 2011, when in fact you'd been talking to him all the time on Instagram?
Sir, we're not doing ambush interviews.
This isn't an ambush.
You can send
an ambush interview. Sir, we're not doing ambush interviews.
me an email.
I thought that was him.
Why are you so afraid to answer these questions?
And operatives up in Minnesota decided to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on private investigators to really find out if Ilhan Omar was...
How y'all feel about Tucker Carlson right now? Let me know. Family, how y'all feel about Tucker Carlson? Tuck! Yeah, man. Yeah. Some of them patriots starting to get that weird itch. And, they walking Tucker out the door. They're like, I don't know about Tucker anymore. I don't know. A little bit too arrogant for me. Let me know, man.
A genetic match, the DNA match to the man who was her second husband. They went to 3 continents. They found a cigarette butt and a drinking straw, which they sent it to a DNA laboratory and found conclusively that the DNA matched, that the second husband was a sibling, according to this DNA sample. So the very day that they were going to unleash this on the world, and in fact I was interviewing one of the people involved, the FBI swooped on the gentleman, Anton Lazaro.
Boom. The DNA.
From this pack up in Minnesota.
Thank you. I heard them fellas say thank you. Bless you, Rick. Bless you. Thank you.
And arrested him on some different charges. Who knows whether he's guilty or not guilty. I mean, he's not guilty until proven, but he's in jail. And so his story never got to see the light of day. I mean, luckily he'd.
You just can't make this up, man. I seen another video, but I can't wait till all these people are gone, man. Like I said, it should be term limits, handcuffs, and they ought to, I'm telling you, expel. They ought to come up with some kind of like new little thing. I'm just saying to get these people out, especially this foreign agent. They should have been walked this heifer out. Getting on there talking about look. I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from within the U.S. system. I'm telling you, this.
iyagana isku hiiliya dadka la galeen wadankan wadankii aan anaga tax ka dhiibna waaye aan leeyahay waan kugu faraxsannahay.
You just can't make it up, And then they explain how Ilhan Omar got into Congress. Mike Benz explains this process, how Somalia Ilhan Omar got elected into U.S. Congress. It was a CIA operation.
CIA sets out how they believed at the time, after the failure of the Bay of Pigs, that there was no direct, immediate way to overthrow Castro in Cuba, and that was what was required instead was a massive commitment from Congress in terms of money and manpower beyond these special operations being done in the form of Bay of Pigs. But the CIA was frustrated that that political will from Congress did not exist. What they're saying here is, since we can't get Congress to take the action we want them to, we don't have the authority because the American people are not voting for what we really want to do. The other option we have is to just do mass immigration of these exile communities of immigrants and refugees. And over time, if we give unlimited support to these exile groups, they will form enough of a lobby on themselves to affect the internal politics of Congress, with importing tens of thousands of Somalians into Minneapolis, Minnesota. Lo and behold, that produces a congresswoman like Ilhan Omar, who then goes and advocates on behalf of the Obama foreign policy for Somalia and Eritrea and Kenya and the whole region. Seeing that in writing from the Cloak and Dagger Central Intelligence Agency 60 years ago, and that we're dealing with the same issue right now as we take on the immigration issue, really is a sort of Back to the Future moment.
You know? How do y'all feel about Ilhan Omar? Leave a beautiful comment down below. You know? I still can't believe she said this, though. I can't get it out of my head. But again, it just gets worse and worse and worse for Democrats. It just gets worse.
In a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade.
I can't believe, but it gets worse. It gets worse.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
Send this help. I'm telling you, they need to make an example out this heifer. They need to make an example out this heifer right here, man. I'm ready for her to be gone too, family. Yeah, she said it. I told you it gets worse. We must fear white people, white men in this country. They are the serious threat in this country. White people, white men.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across.
You should be more fearful of white men. How do y'all feel about that? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. I can't take anymore, man. I can't with this lady. I can't. These are some of the worst, scummiest, fake fraud hypocrites there is, man. They ought to be all walked out. This foreign agent ought to be walked out.
Of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, "I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen." Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else.
Walk that heifer out. You know, and this was back in March. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, said, you know, Ilhan Omar was a foreign agent working in the interests of Somalia. You know, she should be expelled for violating immigration law by marrying, and also married by, who else thinks she should be expelled for violating immigration law by marrying her brother? Yeah, they should have been walked this heifer out, man.
Where these people are just idiots. I really, you know, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people, because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
Deport this heifer. Walk this heifer out in handcuffs. Walk this foreign agent out. Y'all need to expel this one from Congress. I'm telling y'all, they need to make an example out of this heifer. Revoke her citizenship. Deport this heifer. Deport this foreign agent.